Welcome, everyone, as we're getting ready to begin our next masterclass here. Welcome to the Seven-Figure Spiritual Leader. I'm Daniel Rama Hoffman, together with my guides, Toth and the Council of Light, your host. And I really just want to extend appreciation and gratitude and joy for you for choosing to be here. And that's how I'd kick us off today, is just taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for your yes to being here. And I'm delighted for this next masterclass with Jocelyn Starfeather, and we are going to dive deeply into what would you do if you knew you could not fail, and using as well the alchemical energy of astrology to really support your wildest dreams. So welcome, Jocelyn. Hi.
Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for having me here. So excited.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, I'm feeling like it would be a beautiful time, since this is the energetic secrets to go from 6 to 7 figures, to really make a big leap. And that's the essence of what we're talking about here, to calibrate the energy space. I always love that. So I'd invite each of you to allow an energy or a quality or an element, or as we're going to be going into some shamanic stuff too, maybe it's an animal that you really relate to, and to have that energy or that essence bubble up within you. If you want to pop it in the chat or in the comments, what are you adding to this space? So Jocelyn, is there anything that you're dedicating the space to, or any energies that you call in as we're just getting started here?
Yeah, wonderful. I love that question. And hello, everybody attending live out there. I'm so excited to gather with you today. One thing that's really been present for me lately is that we're in this time when the birds are migrating, and the birds are beings that we're so connected to on very deeper levels than we even realize, and they really help us to remember that connection between heaven and earth, between the above and the below. And they're making these incredibly long journeys of tens of thousands of miles to the north or to the south at this time. So let's really call upon the birds and send our support and strength out to them, and our prayers out to them as well for their journeys, and connect in with that miracle of how they do that, how they navigate. It's really a wonderful, amazing thing.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. All right, well, I'm feeling called to bring forward the team here, so I'll just take a moment. Hello, dear ones. This is Toth with the Path of the Venus Light, Beings of Light, and Sanat Kamara, and an expanded intergalactic Council of Light, including Ptah, the creator being, creating through the word. And we're moving more into the forefront here with delight and joy. And also, as we're setting the table for this co-creation, we'd invite you each to connect to the field of infinite possibilities. That part of what we're up to in this global event is expanding into more possibilities, and not just for the sake of more, yet really that which is aligned to you, or what the Magdalene says, that which is aligned to you and what matters most to you. And so as we're running the field of infinite possibilities, or you may be aware of it as a 0 point, or you may speak about it as the quantum, or you may speak about it as source or nature, or whatever that aligned, congruent energy is for you, then that opens up more and more and more and more possibilities. So Jocelyn, as you have in your masterclass title, Wildest Dreams, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? How are those doorways or pathways into greater possibilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we all have some idea of, wow, if there were no limits, right? If I was just given full permission to let my dreams, my passions, my greatest hopes for the future just run wild, like a wild stallion, running across the plains, right? We have some idea of what that might look like. And no matter how fantastic or miraculous that vision we have may be, the universe has something even more magnificent in mind. So truly, there are no limits, and it's really important to open up to all possibilities, to give ourselves full visioning permission, when we're thinking about the future, when we're thinking about what we would ideally like to create. And we, as human beings, as 3D beings, we tend to place so many limitations upon ourselves. And really, we're not limited, right? Really, truly, we're infinite. And I don't mean that in an airy fairy kind of way either. I really truly have seen it happen so many times where when we really surrender into what wants to come through, when we really surrender to what the universe actually wants to send us, bigger and bigger gifts than we ever imagined become possible.
Mm. Yeah, and what you're speaking about, and as we're also tuning in here, that permission is opening up into, and that's kind of the question, like, what would you do if you could not fail? And so if there's something that's popping for you and you want to put it in the chat, we'd love to hear it, or in the comments on Facebook. It's like, really, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you be if you knew that you could not fail? What are those wildest dreams? And we'll move into later on here some shamanic journeying, some connection to that response, also coming not only from the mind or the limited perspectives that you're speaking about, yet being tapped into a wider possibility. So one of the questions that I'm getting telepathically here is also like, well, what if I don't know what my wildest dream is? Like, what if I don't know what it is that I would do if I would not fail? And we know that this group is very far along on their journey. It's not like they're starting out in this lifetime or in this now moment. So it's not like this blank slate, but it's that going to the wildest part, going to the what would I do if I would not fail? So is there anything that you would add to just open up? Because we have a sense it's like the conversation is happening here in this energy, and we want the conversation to happen in a wider field so that there can be more territory that's accessed when somebody is leaving this masterclass than when they first stepped into it. So what if someone isn't really sure what their wildest dream is in this now moment? And then also, how do the last couple months of 2021 and moving into 2022 really support those wildest dreams from the alchemical astrological perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for this question. So there's a lot here. And one thing is what you just mentioned, which is that we are going to be receiving absolutely massive support over the next few months. So the last 3 months of 2021 and the first month or two of 2022, especially, and continuing on throughout 2022, from some of the really catalyzing heavy hitter planets astrologically, and specifically the planets Mars, Pluto, Saturn, and Uranus. And I'll explain a little more about each of them and what they stand for, what their archetypes are. But those 4 planets in particular are going to be working with us intensively over these next few months. And these are planets that really can help us to get clarity, can help us to come deeply into our integrity so that we can see that highest vision that we've never been able to see before. It can help us to have even like shocking and surprising breakthroughs that we never expected. So we're really going to be receiving very high levels of support. So I do want to elaborate on each of those planetary influences a bit so you can understand what we're going to be working with and the kind of help we're going to get. But I will say first that the big picture here is we are extremely strongly welcomed into change over the next few months. Now, if we resist that, right, as we know, if change is trying to move through us and we resist it, it can be very challenging. It can be really difficult. So the big invitation from the universe over these next 4 months, and it's just all the astrology is just yelling this so loudly, right, is embrace change, embody change, welcome it in, really invite it, because then you'll be able to flow with it. Then you'll be able to receive these upgrades and this help and this support from the universe that at other times just hasn't been possible. So much of 2020 and 2021, we've been feeling really stuck. And the energy is shifting so significantly now into forward momentum. So I want to give everybody encouragement that you'll be able to move forward in ways that you haven't been up till now. And you're going to really feel that. Some of you are probably really, feeling it strongly already. One other thing, and then I'll speak about the planet specifically, but one other thing that's coming up for me, and it sounds kind of funny, but it's really important to get a clue on what you're most deeply longing for. Okay. And what we're most deeply longing for is always aligned with what the universe wants to send us, because it's aligned with what we're supposed to be doing, right? If we're in this lane over here, and we're really longing to be in this one over here, that's because, this is where the universe wants us to get to. So one clue is to tune into who around you or what events around you do you wish you could be a part of? And this can even go into the realm of jealousy, which is where it sounds a little funny because we think of jealousy as kind of a negative thing, right? But really, jealousy is pointing us toward what we're most deeply longing for that we haven't allowed ourselves to have yet, right? So just start tuning in and paying attention to, is there somebody that you're always wishing you could kind of be in their shoes, right? Or you're like, oh, I wish I could be going to, or are there certain kind of events that you see these come through and you think, oh, I wish I could go and be a part of that. Really pay attention to those longings and even jealousy, because it's giving you clues. It's giving you, it's lighting you up around what your highest path is meant to be. So it's really important to pay attention to these. So I can share a little more about the planets, if that's all right, just so everybody understands these energies and these archetypes that we're working with right now. So I'll start with Mars. And Mars was working with us very strongly in September and will continue to do so throughout October, November, December, and January, going into 2022. Mars is a planet of individuation. And Mars is the warrior god. So he is pretty aggressive. He's very passionate, and he doesn't stand for any nonsense. So when Mars is working with us, and I especially feel now that as this warrior version of the sacred masculine, he's especially calling upon the warrior version of the sacred feminine right now to really fully step into our power and to take action in ways, to have the courage to take action in ways that we've held back or hesitated from before. Mars cuts through all hesitation. He really allows us to spring into action. So as he works with us, we're going to feel more impulse to take that leap. We're going to feel more impulse to really take decisive actions, maybe some bold actions that we haven't been able to before. So this is one important energy. One thing about Mars is don't be reckless, right? We want to find the balance between taking decisive and bold action, but not having it be reckless, not having it be like a rash action that we just decide in a second to do this crazy thing, right? We want to be present with it. Now, this is where Saturn comes in, because Saturn is one of these really heavy hitters. He's working with us extensively as well right now. And he actually is a bit opposing Mars in the way that he tells us to wait. He tells us to hold on. The lesson from Saturn is that we need to be building things in highest integrity. We need to be really aware of the structures we're creating. And when we do that, and when we work hard, and when we take our time with it, what we build will last. So this is one dynamic to be aware of, is finding the balance between that desire to leap forward, that desire to take bold and aggressive action, and balancing it with our inner integrity, our inner values, right? And making sure that as the good thing is we're going to get that impulse to take the action. The hesitation, we can cut right through that. But as we take those actions, we also want to just make sure they're fully aligned with our values and our integrity. And that's the lesson from Saturn. Now, another planet working with us very strongly right now is Uranus. And Saturn and Uranus have been in and out of a square with one another throughout 2021. And this is going to get really strong again in the last few months of 2021 here. Uranus is about freedom. Uranus is really about rebellion and revolution and breaking free from all that has held us back. It's a very electric energy. So with Mars and Uranus together, right, we can be just filled with energy at this time. We can be filled with inspiration to leap ahead, to do the things that we've never done before. It's really bringing in that revolutionary energy with the Uranus involved. Now, the fourth planet, the last planet that I'll speak about here, is a really heavy hitter. Now, this is Pluto. And Pluto is Hades. He's the god of the underworld in the Greek mythology and the Roman mythology. And so this is an energy of, what do we need to let die? What do we need to let go of and release from our lives in order to be able to be reborn and live more fully, right? So it's really about the initiatory journey, the hero's journey, the death, and then moving into rebirth journey. So this is a big one. And this is something that I know we've really been feeling Pluto quite strongly all year. We've all been going through major initiations and seeing things falling away, whether it's relationships or careers or whatever it may be. And it's a very important energy because it allows us to clear space for the next highest level of what we want to bring forward or what we want to integrate into our own being. We have to sometimes clear out and make space. So with all these four working together, we're going to be so catalyzed. And again, the top level invitation here is change. So as we feel ourselves really, coming into our power, getting clarity in our power, feeling the hints of freedom and wanting to move more toward that, we're getting so much support to move forward in a number of ways. So I'll pause there.
Yes, and we're sensing all of the like ahas or things clicking into place, or a sense of in your system, like, because as you're sharing of the energies individually and then them together, and how some of them can be opposing at times, we're sensing that that may be what some of you have been feeling in relationship to your business, in relationship to your mission, in relationship to your contribution, that there's that sense of, oh, like you were saying, the letting go and the death, or there's a sense of change, and then there's wait, hold, and it could feel a little bit like pulling energies in different directions. And as you're bringing them forward, there's the sense of the real alchemy of them, and how, and we, the Magdalens, are stepping forward a little bit more, because we speak about this as well when it comes to having clarity and what it is that you desire. It's really what matters most to you and what you're aligned to. And this can also really be supportive in gaining that clarity of the next level lead, because what is aligned and matters most to Jocelyn is different than what matters to you, that matters to Danielle. There's really a sense of it being that perfect match for what it is that you're here for. And to recognize that also is sloughing off some of what just doesn't matter to you. And so we're inviting that energy to come in a little bit. It's here already, and you're speaking about it in the planets. Yet that one way of getting to what, sloughing off what doesn't matter to you, may be some of that revolution energy or that rebellion energy. And then it can be quick, and then you can move into, well, what does matter to you? Because in the old paradigm, there could be a lot of, well, trying to move away from or go against what doesn't matter to you, rather than, okay, that rebellion energy is just coming up so that I can align with what really does matter to me. And so there's a couple more questions here that we would go into, and yet we also are sensing that it may be helpful sooner than later to do some shamanic journeying about the next big leap for each individual. So is there anything that you want to bring in before we go into that? The sacred, what is the sacred instruction, for example? What has the universe been asking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, that the piece about the sacred instructions is really important. And so I think that will be the best thing to introduce before the journey. And so the sacred instructions are the messages that often it's a repeated message or a repeated pattern of messages that you might receive in your meditations or in your visionary state or even in your dreams, right? It can come through in any number of ways, or even, something that keeps coming to you when you're in the shower in the morning, right? There are these, sometimes when we're in water, we get these beautiful downloads. And so the sacred instructions are the messages and the way the universe is speaking to you to tell you your next steps. And I truly believe that each and every one of us is receiving our sacred instructions, right? Receiving our next steps at any point in time. It's just whether we're able to hear them, right? Whether we're able to hear them at each stage as we move through. And so naturally, the more that we work with this idea of the sacred instructions, the more that we bring that into our meditations and our visioning, the more clearly we'll be able to receive it and discern it. And it really, when you receive these instructions, right, which are, they're from your guides, they're from your protecting spirits, they're from those who are, always working in favor of you. It feels different. It feels, we know how it feels a little different when your intuitive voice is coming through, right? Versus maybe the negative self-talk voice or the more mind chatter voice, right? When your intuition comes in, it's a different voice, might be a little softer, definitely a little kinder in what it's presenting to you. And the sacred instructions are very much like that, because they're coming from a really deep knowing within you. and really sacred guidance from all of your guides and those protectors around. So it feels different. That's one way to know that it's the sacred instructions. And another way to know is that it will be giving you some sort of clear step forward. I know, just to give an example of this, I have a friend who she started receiving these downloads to build a teepee, like an Native American teepee on her land, and she lives in California. And at first she didn't have any idea how she could possibly do that, and how she could do it in full alignment and respect for the Native American peoples who have been living on that land, right? And how to put all of this into action, how to get the materials. But little by little, people showed up, resources showed up. And so we can receive an instruction that seems very outlandish or very even impossible, but we just need to lean into it a little bit. We just need to trust it, a little bit, and then start asking for more information, right? Like, how can I actually do this? How could I actually make this happen? And little by little, the way will show itself. So she now has this beautiful teepee built on her land, that where she holds women's circles and moon gatherings, and it's just really incredibly beautiful what she's doing there. And she could have chosen to ignore those messages, but she didn't, even though it seemed like a wild idea at the time, right? She really followed them, and she did it in highest integrity. So that's very important to know, is that the sacred instructions may seem impossible. They may seem way outside of your comfort zone, may seem like something your friends and family would definitely not understand at all if you did, right? And so the first step is to really trust it and just lean in a little bit. Also, if you don't know how to do it, if you can't even imagine how that would ever come about, know that it's okay. And know that the more you lean in, and one thing we can do is just say yes. Just say the sacred yes, even if we don't know how it's going to happen, right? I really like to sometimes just go outside and face the sun or face the moon if it's nighttime, and just put my arms up to the sky and just say yes. I accept this mission. I don't understand this mission yet, but I accept it. And just saying that yes, the universe really hears that, right? All of your guides really hear that, and they can begin to respond, and they can begin to send you what you need to make it happen.
Beautiful. So that seems like a wonderful thing to move into. If you're called, we'd invite you to put your arms up and really move into this energy of sacred yes. And that yes, that's aligned for you. And then on the count of 3, if you're called, invite you to bring in your hands, really claiming that yes. So 1, 2, 3, yes. Whew.
Yes, love that.
And what you're sharing about the sacred instructions is that they may be something that is a next step on the path. And it may be something that seems like a destination. So it may be something like when Danielle was hiking the Camino this summer, one of the next steps for her was to move her body 1 to 2 hours a day. And so that's not like here's the big vision of the business, and yet it's a next step that's related to a larger movement. So we want to just open up the next steps to be also the let's say the destination, yet also the journey next step, like the example in your friend's story, that the next step was the teepee, and that teepee was a step on the path to having these larger circles. So let's move into this guided shamanic journey to find out what is your big leap and receive clarity on the highest contribution that the universe is asking you to bring to the world in this lifetime. So Jocelyn, are you ready for that? Everyone ready?
Absolutely. Yes, so everyone listening, just get really comfortable where you are. If you feel like you would be able to relax more laying down, you can certainly do that. You can be sitting up with your spine straight, or even if you want to make this a movement journey or a dancing journey where you're standing and moving your body, that's wonderful too. Really trust what your body needs at this time. And when you are in your comfortable state, your comfortable space, go ahead and close your eyes. And let's just begin by taking some deep breaths into your heart. So, placing one or both hands on your heart, take a deep breath into the heart space and really notice that you're filling your heart and your lungs with this beautiful oxygen and sunlight and all the wonderful elements that surround us, support our life. And then when you're ready, breathe out, exhaling and allowing that exhale to really relax your body. Allow your muscles to become relaxed. Allow any thoughts or thinking mind items to just fall away. And then take another deep breath in, breathing in, expanding your heart space, connecting with your heart, which is an absolutely miraculous organ that connects you to the wisdom of the ancestors through your blood, connects you with the knowledge and the divine intelligence of the cosmos and the earth. And then breathe out, releasing and relaxing one more time. Just continue with this deeper rhythm of breathing. Then I invite you to imagine yourself in a beautiful place in nature, a place where you feel safe and happy and comfortable. Let it be a sunny day there, and just put your arms out and put your face up to the sun and just feel the heat, the beauty of that feeling of the heat of the sun on your skin. Let the sun just shine down on you and know you're being filled up with cosmic light from above. And then notice that you're standing there barefoot and the soles of your feet are connecting in with Mother Earth. And allow the earth to send you up through the soles of your feet some beautiful, unconditional love energy. This is the love of the Great Mother, and you are her precious child. She cares for you so deeply. So just receive that unconditional love from the earth. Receive that cosmic light from the sun. And take a deep breath in, breathing in all of this beauty, all of this magic. And then I invite you to call to your side a guide. Now really trust whatever guide shows up first for you. This may be a power animal, maybe an angel or an ancestor. Just really trust whoever shows up and know that this guide is the right one to help you today on this powerful journey. Thank your guide for coming. And then before you, in this beautiful place in nature, you see opening up a portal. It looks like a portal that's opening into the cosmos. And you see that your guide is beckoning for you to take a leap into this portal. So gather your courage, know you are safe, and your guide will be here to protect you. And together with your guide, go ahead and jump right through. Now, once you jump into this portal, you will find yourself traversing the cosmos, floating among the stars and planets. And you will see here in this space that you're going to move by Mars, giving you courage and passion and the ability to take action. And you're going to also move past Uranus, bringing you freedom, rebellion, and revolution. And you're going to receive the energy of Saturn, who will reward you for your hard work and your dedication by helping what you create to truly last. And you'll also be receiving the energy of Pluto so that you'll know what to let go of to make space for the new. So in this very powerful cosmic place, your guide is going to take you to a future version of the earth, perhaps 5 to 10 years in the future. So go ahead and travel with your guide and fly around above the surface of the earth, just taking in the beauty of our wonderful planet, just taking in the beauty of the continents, the cities below, the sacred sites as you fly over them. And then notice that there's a place on the earth that's calling to you. This is a place where you will be 5 to 10 years from now. Allow your guide to bring you down to this place. And your guide is going to open up the doors and show you a future version of yourself where you are living in a state of offering your highest contribution to the world, where you are doing activities and living in a way that feels so deeply and fully aligned that it is beyond anything you ever imagined possible for you in this lifetime. So I'm going to be silent for just a minute while you take this time with your guide to go and see what is happening in your future. And now, once you have seen this vision of the future you, your guide has a message to whisper into your ear to give you more information, more insight about this. So go ahead and lean into your guide. Let them whisper this secret into your ear. Really receive it. And now your guide is going to take your hand and begin to fly you back the way that you came. And as you fly back, you're going to receive a gift or a message from each of these planets that you passed on the way here. So first, we're going to come to Pluto. So really lean in toward the planet Pluto. Receive its energy. Receive the healing force of Pluto, which allows us to release that which we no longer need. And now from Pluto, you're going to receive a message or an insight about what is it that you most need to let go of at this time in order to more fully live. So receive this message from Pluto. Tuck this message into your heart, or it will stay with you, or you'll remember it. And then turn to Saturn. Take in the energy of Saturn with its glorious rings. Very extremely beautiful planet, this one. And now Saturn is going to give you a message about what structures you need to put in place in order to be able to achieve this 5 to 10 year vision in your future. So lean into Saturn and see what Saturn recommends. What structures need to be built now and in the coming years. And take this message from Saturn, again, tuck it into your heart where you'll keep it. Remember it, bring it back with you. And then turn to the planet Uranus. As you turn to Uranus, you might feel an electrical surge move through your body, a surge of excitement, freedom, rebellion, revolution. Really take this in. Allow it to inspire you, to move you. And now you will receive a message from Uranus. What is the revolutionary action that will help you to truly create this 5 to 10 year future vision that you just saw? Go ahead and receive this response from Uranus. Take this insight, this electrical charged insight, and tuck it into your heart as well. Bring it back with you. And now finally, let's turn to Mars. Really take in the energy of the planet Mars. His energy is of you knowing very strongly who you are. Knowing what your values are. Knowing when it's right to fight or to stand up, right, as the warrior, the spiritual warrior for what you most deeply believe in. And now from Mars, go ahead and just ask Mars, how can you have the courage? How can you have the courage to take these steps? What is it that you need to know about your inner strength, your spiritual warrior within? What is the revelation that he can give you about your deeper strength and power? It has always been there, but this is a deeper level that you haven't accessed before. So ask him, how can you gain access to this part of your courage and your power? And just listen to hear his answer. And once you receive this insight from Mars, tuck this into your heart, bring it with you, and then thank all 4 of these planets for these gifts, for these messages. And together with your guide, go ahead and fly back the way you came, fly back through the portal. Take the leap through that portal back into your beautiful place in nature. And if you'd like, you can give your guide a hug or a kiss and thank them so much for being here with you, for guiding and protecting you. And if you have one last question for your guide, one last bit of wisdom or information that you need, go ahead and ask it now. And then thank your guide once again and let your guide leave. Know that you can come back and work with this guide again anytime that you like. But for now, watch them go. And just for another moment, put your arms out again, put your bare feet on the ground, feel that unconditional love from Mother Earth flowing into the soles of your feet and all throughout your body. Feel that beautiful cosmic light from the sun lighting up your face, flowing into you, inspiring you, illuminating you. And then allow yourself to gradually come back here, back to this present moment where you're attending this masterclass. Take a deep breath into your heart space, returning to the breath. And then you can release that breath with a sound if you would like. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes a bit. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Come on back here to our gathering.
Taking a moment or two to jot down any notes. And we're stepping aside, so sending much love and appreciation to each of you for your contribution to the evolution and consciousness. All is light and love, and we are all. Danielle, moving more to the forefront here. Thank you, Jocelyn, and everyone tuning in. Just reminded of how much when we are asking for something, it's just there, right? So I know that there's been some of you that have been asking for what is that next big leap? What would I be doing? And I know that this is really perfect timing. So I do want to mention your free gift. So you have Awakening the Starry Knowledge Within You, which is a video workshop and shamanic journeying practice. So would you just share a little bit more about that? And I feel like everyone just had a great opportunity to experience what it's like. And I'm putting the link in the chat here for Jocelyn's free gift.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And yes, this is such a fun video workshop, and it's really a journey into magical consciousness and connecting with some of our ancient mythology and the archetypes there to guide us toward taking our big leap, taking our next steps in our life, and really tapping into alchemy and magic to help us move through any challenges and move into the light and into the miracles that are possible. So I hope everybody will enjoy that. And yeah, it includes a really deep shamanic journey that is different than the one we just did. So it's really powerful.
Thank you for this generous gift and this amazing masterclass. Any final words you'd leave us with as we're wrapping up?
Well, I will just say that within every one of us, within every single one of us, there is a part of us that already knows, right? That already knows exactly where we'll be in that highest level vision in 10 years. So if you saw that already during the journey, wonderful. If you didn't see it, don't worry. You can do a journey like that again. And also just keep connecting with and tapping into that part of you that already knows. It is there, it is available to you, and just keep trusting, keep taking those steps forward. And we are so supported at this time.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here and for your contribution to the evolution in consciousness. And bye for now.